Hello, everybody. Welcome to another scene for Dublin by Darkness? Dublin in Darkness? I don't know exactly anymore. Anyway, this is the demon venue. We start the scene with Lil and her brother Carol, um, who are in a car. Not far from the mansion that they were summoned to a couple of nights ago. Um, Lil is actually holding in her hands like a normal pair of binoculars. She is like the window is open. She's smoking as she's peeking through the binoculars and hands them over to her brother and raises her shoulders like, I don't see anything really. And with her brother not replying, she'll just, sigh
Oh,
and
damn it. Sorry, I was muted. Sorry, can you repeat again?
Mm.
Like,
She's handing you a pair of binoculars, like just normal binoculars, and
yeah.
kind of shrugs this. I don't see anything suspicious happening.
No, it's barren as fuck. I don't know, man. Can you see that, like, the locks are still in place, but, like, the top one is still down. Like, nobody changed
Yeah.
it. Jesus.
I mean, I didn't really expect that we would find much by being here, but sort of hoping to run into some others, but eh, guess
Yeah,
not, huh?
maybe the clubhouse isn't really here, but somewhere else.
Could be.
It's at this point that they will know. They won't probably won't notice anything. In the like close to the place will be a woman who is wearing a hoodie or something like that to cover her face without being seen as openly suspicious. Who has approached the place on foot because that's less likely to draw attention. And her player will know because she also felt Celia also felt the summons. Unfortunately, she had just boarded a plane that was taking off in that moment when she felt the summons, and she was unable to get out of the plane. So she had to she returned as soon as she could, and that is my justification for not being at the scene, and I'm going to stick with it. Um, 4d10.
Question quickly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, you have fame too. What are you famous for?
I am a singer. I am a. I will. She is. Celia is a very well, not very famous, but like middle of the ground. Famous like singer, performer.
What kind of genre?
Um. To be honest, I modeled her over Tyler Swift. So
So
pop.
pop music. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just so I don't know you most
Pop
likely
slash country.
because, like,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't really be country in Ireland, would it? Because maybe some,
I
maybe
folk.
mean,
she
in
maybe she
country
does some
in
folk as
Ireland they
well. Yeah.
call it folk, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Folk. Hello, I was in my pickup truck crossing up the prairie, and no, I'm kidding. And, oh, anyway.
She is the 2018 version of the course.
All the lols. All the lols.
Exactly. Celia felt drawn to this place, and she when she arrives, she doesn't really see anything suspicious and anything that would draw her attention. But when she uses her ability to see things, her lamp of faith, basically, uh, she she instantly, like, at each success permits the character to detect those beacons of faith through intervening obstacles. So basically, that three successes basically means that I know that who you are, and I know what you are at least, and where you are. Is that
Yeah,
true?
you basically see two like if you look around and you look
Yeah,
past the car, you can see like the two demons in there kind of surge up in the as the faith does when you invoke lamp of faith. It's
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, there are two lights in the car.
Okay, that's interesting. She like the moment that she like turns her head and spots those two lights, she freezes and then stands still for a moment while her head tilts.
When you
Um,
when you use your magic, I believe we get an awareness roll as well.
This is true.
Yeah. So I will try and see if we can actually pick up your lamp, so to speak.
This,
Your,
if I had failed my role, this scene would have been very, very short indeed.
Very short.
we just assume that you're awesome.
Exactly.
What was it again? Awareness. Oh, damn it.
That's 4 successes as far as I can see.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have to like 1, 2, 3.
You have 3.
No, I have more. Because it's not fate you're rolling.
Oh wait. No, it's perception awareness. Oh, sorry, you haven't rolled yet. Sorry, I was looking at Mark's roll. Yeah. Oops.
And that's 60 then. Oh. There you go. I have a ping. I know the direction of where your magic key comes from.
Yay.
That's far. That's the best I can do in fucking 6 dice. Damn it. Anyway, ping. Your light beacons out to us. Um, I am ticked that I don't. Definitely from the right side, there's something coming. Whatever my sister knows, I don't know yet.
I think like she has 4. I have 4 successes.
Yeah, you know where and the exact location.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So what will happen in the car is that the binoculars will get snatched away from Carol again, as Lil will just grab them and look into the general direction of where this ping came from.
You'll see a girl or a figure. You can't see enough of her face to see that. You'll see if yeah, you can probably you'll see a figure standing, looking towards your car. A little bit uncertain as to in her body language. There's a little bit of a doubt as to how to proceed. But she is just standing there, gauging her options.
Ooh, she's hot.
I mean, you can't see that yet. She's wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, I can see those legs, baby.
Oh boy.
Well, actually, she has appearance 3, so she's at least somewhat attractive.
Yeah, not only that, I do not have the lustful flaw, but I have a certain addiction. You get.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
she's as pretty as your sister. Sorry, no, I'm just joking. So Lil will kind of look at her brother as like, I think that's one of us.
Makes sense. Let's check out what she's doing. Maybe she's gonna. Wait,
Sure.
is she looking at us?
Yes. She did
So
something.
right, yeah, I sense something. So you want to like confront her or like chat her up? You know what? Forget it. I'll just go there. Fuck it.
Yeah,
And
you'll do the chatting.
Carol just steps out of the car.
Lil
Uh,
will roll with her eyes as she does when she says like, "Yeah, I'll do the chatting." She's like, "Yeah, right, you will."
and
But she'll
he's
get
like,
out as well.
yeah. For a description, Carol looks like an average man, not particularly well dressed, not particularly very wealthy. Um, he has no fashion sense whatsoever, but he does walk with an air of confidence that is like beyond normal, and yeah, with the self confidence, believing in his magic. You know what I mean? Um, he's walking over to to you, to the beautiful woman that is definitely looking at him and his sister.
And yeah, Lil will follow her brother. She looks a little bit more mousy than he does. Definitely not walking around with this air of confidence that he has. She looks very much on guard. Her hand is definitely in the pocket of her leather jacket. And yeah, she will walk a little behind Carol.
What time of day is it, by the way?
I don't care.
Anytime
Fair
you
enough.
want. We're like
Let's
we
let's
don't we don't work. Well,
I mean,
let's say evening then.
sure.
That also makes it easier for Celia to go unnoticed. She smiles and she does not take her hoodie off yet and looks at the two from beneath it. Good evening, she says. I have a feeling that, let's say, we are alike.
Ah, Kirill smiles as he and his sister obviously had noticed something, and he looks back and say, "Ah, you're right." And then he says like, "So what brings you to this? I bet it was the sign, right?"
She nods. I was physically unable to make it when I felt the calling. I
Hmm?
came as soon as I could.
Yeah, sure. Don't worry about it. I mean, it's a guy like that lives there called Simon. And he's
Mm.
like running a uh, club, like court. He calls it a court.
Mm.
I don't know. And yeah, he technically like invited all of us, you know what I mean, within the city who hasn't met him yet
Mm.
to visit him, and yeah, he offered us some certain like info and stuff like that, and he was offering pins in order for us to wear to belong to his club. He, he seems all right, although his deal is like, yeah, it's too good to be true. So I'm not really sure. Also, he calls himself a tyrant, so that doesn't really sound very nice.
She smiles beneath the hoodie, and then she looks and says, "The kind of conversation we are having is not really fit for the public. Is there a place we can talk in private?"
Yeah, come to the car.
And she will follow where the two leads.
Right. So Kirill walks back to the car.
Okay, for
Uh,
some reason, just to point out, my Manycam isn't working because I don't know reasons, science, I guess.
Ooh,
I'm not on it for reasons.
a wild storyteller appears. I hadn't seen you, man.
I sneak up on people. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
do it. Do it. Ah. No, come join us.
You guys are walking towards your car. I take it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Where are you? Oh, is this just after a certain meeting? Because I remember you
No,
saying,
No, 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 no. It's
it's a
not.
few
It's just
days
a
after the meeting.
few evenings later.
Right.
Basically, Lil and Carol were spying on the freaking mansion, and Celia was there because she couldn't be there for the call because she was in the airplane, and so she's coming to the mansion now to kind of check it out.
okay.
And we
As
were
you
like staking it out in the car,
Yep.
and but
Totally not
theoretically,
speaking or anything.
if you want to join with a certain character that I know you have, then
no, no,
time doesn't really matter.
no. I will be joining with another specific character that I
Oh
have.
dear.
I hope it's Kinky. Let's go. All right. So yeah, we're walking back to our car, which is almost like right across the street.
Mm.
Yeah, Lil
What?
still hasn't uh, got her hand out of her pocket, but she'll get in at the driver's seat.
Before you do, there is a figure who is casually, I'm not going to say is leaning on your car, kind of in that kind of, they have their back pressed to the door that is closest to the pavement. So I assume that will probably be the passenger side door,
Hmm.
because you know which side of the road we drive on.
Uh-oh.
Give me just a moment. I'm going to see. I think I might have fixed my Manycam because I prefer to use pictures rather than actually having to rely on my descriptive powers. Because fuck that.
Oh,
Um, I'm a game master. I'm also really lazy. Um, work, damn you. Damn.
Now that was a demon voice. That was.
I also have. I just want to. Bishop is not the only one who has voice change software. I just don't use one as often.
it's not a voice change software. That's my actual voice.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Very well then. You will see, or particularly for Leal and Carol, the individual who Leal almost pointed a gun at.
That's awkward.
Oh, for fuck's
Oh,
sake.
shite. Fuck my life. That is a fucking cunt I don't want to see.
I have a feeling that I should be worried right now.
Oh yes. Oh yes. You can see Lila, she's like walking up to the car and just kind of stops abruptly. And her hand clutching something inside her jacket more tightly.
Celia stops as well, seeing as the others do, and looks from one to the other, then to the newcomer. Doesn't say
Interestingly
anything.
enough, from everything that you can sense, see, and in other ways perceive, this person isn't there.
Oh, that's interesting.
As in, demons can naturally sense things like magic, etc., etc., etc. This
Yeah.
individual is not even physically there to register even your average presence of basic. Every person, every human inherently has a faith score, which means they inherently exist. It doesn't matter what kind of person they are. Everyone has a faith score ranked between 1 and 10, depending on how faithful you are. This person doesn't exist.
She looks at him and tilts her head. Who are you?
Interesting. I've often thought that ignorance must in fact be bliss, but then again, it all depends upon your point of view.
That's
What
with
are you doing
everything.
here?
What do you want?
She looks up, and for the briefest of moments, her eyes flash gloriously golden light before she blinks it away. How would I phrase this? I want to understand.
What?
Why? Who? And indeed where? All of the above. These causalities that all seem to tick and talk together.
Stop talking your riddles, please.
Life
Fuck off,
is a,
fucking fiend, mate.
life is a riddle. She looks between all three of you, her eyes narrowing ever so slightly. Give me just a moment to pull up a thing that I need. If you all would please roll me your permanent faith score at a dice pool.
If she's going to attack us, I'm going to ask you to roll an initiative, and we will die. But I don't care.
She's not attacking you.
All right.
Okay, that escalated quickly.
Well, yeah. Well, come on. If
So,
he's
You
remotely
want us
attacking
to
his sister.
roll our permanent faith, right?
Your permanent faith as a dice pool.
Yes.
All right.
Difficulty one.
Standard diff.
Okay. Well, I don't succeed. I don't botch at least, but I don't succeed.
Oh, fucking hell! I'm rolling in the Odessa roller. Give me a second.
Lol.
That might not work.
Oh,
Gee,
the rolling works, just not the way you want it.
I got 2 successes.
Yeah, give me a second. I was doing good with that roll though. 40.
That's two
I got 2
successes.
successes. I had 3 the last roll, but it's fine.
Okay. Why? Okay. So who has succeeded on the roll and who got what on the roll?
I got 2 successes, a 7 and a
too.
9.
Cool.
And
I got
Saskia
a
succeeded as well,
I got a 6 and an 8.
but I
Okay,
failed.
All right, Mark. You don't. It's just you don't feel this essentially. For that briefest of moments, as her eyes connect with both of you, in particular, you get a really weird flash, almost like a pseudo moment, wherein you remember seeing this face, but the face is spattered is spattered in blood. A blazing golden halo over her head, and she is holding in her hands a spear. From the perspective of dear Kirill, you are looking up at her from the ground, and from the perspective of I can use English today. I'm also flicking.
Admit you wanted to say Irene.
I did not want to say Irene. From the perspective of Leo, she's holding you physically upwards. So you would assume you see her hand. You would assume she's gripping you by the throat.
Oh, great.
But that's how she feels. That's not what we're seeing.
No, that's what we're seeing in a momentary flash. It's like a memory replaying itself before your eyes in a kind of a pop moment.
Yep. I'm just gonna say the gun is after this moment the gun is out of Lil's pocket. She's not aiming,
Oh,
but
no.
you know the gun is there, and she's just gonna look. Are
I
you
just made
trying
this
to
character.
scare us, Gabriel?
I just made this character. No, I'm kidding. I'm slipping my hand in my pocket to my razor blade. I'm not pulling
I
it
was,
out yet, but I'm keeping it close.
I was going to say, for Mark, who might not have heard that, she just name dropped the thing for the record.
Yeah, deliberately so that Mark at least know what we're dealing with. Lil said, "Are you trying to scare us, Gabriel?"
She and like with her with her legacy, like, do I need to roll legacy to know who Gabriel is?
Yeah, you can roll intelligence legacy if you'd like to. It is standard difficulty. It will be a threshold of 2 successes because if you don't know this, then you were bad at before a month.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I mean, any demon who does not know who Gabriel is, that's
I was going to say, next thing you know, Mark botches, and it's totally that guy from the fucking film Dogma who had no balls.
3 successes though.
Okay, for the record, it's Gabrielle, not
Yeah,
Gabriel.
sorry.
Because
Gabrielle.
she was constantly irritated with the fact that the Council of Nicaea decided to regender her in order to
I
make
mean,
it more
I'm
male
not gonna
oriented.
say that Lil did it on purpose because I did
That's
not, but Lil
fine.
could have totally done it on purpose.
That's fine. Gabrielle has always identified as a woman. She, as I said, historically her position was. This is one of Evan's little inside jokes he had in Mage. The fact that they misgendered her because it just kind of fit the patriarchy better.
Makes total sense.
She was indeed, as described in the Bible. She was not necessarily. She was kind of, other than Lucifer. Lucifer was God's favored during the creation. But Gabriel was definitely his first herald in the sense that she basically communicated most of his direct decrees to the lower orders. Well, not to the lower orders, but to the other orders of the angelic host. That was pretty much her job. So she served as his voice an awful lot.
She was a cunt. Sorry.
Actually, no. With the 3 successes, she wasn't. She was the one who tried to stop Michael from renaming you all. That she thought there could be or she wanted there to be redemption.
How people change.
She was the nice one. But then Michael just started to go, "I rename you this. I rename you this. Fuck you. Fuck yourself. Fuck you."
Michael's just a dick.
Michael is a dick, dude.
I mean, Lil luckily doesn't know all of this. This is good.
Santika looks at Gabrielle with her eyes widened and her her jaw dropping a bit, and then she looks at regains her composure and says, "Gabrielle, what brings you here?"
She contemplates and she says, "As I said, I came here because you should not be. Well, rather, you should not be here. But you are. By the hand of man, which means that we are incapable of acting against his will, interfering with man's free will, his dictates and judgments that are his own, as was his decree."
Oh, I feel so sorry.
Celia nods seriously. Like she takes Gabrielle's words in.
Not knowing all the heroics that Gabrielle might have done, Kirill is like looking at Leo and like, why are we listening to this bullshit? Let's go.
And at those words, Celia like stops and turns her head, and it's not exactly fire in her eyes, but it is definitely. Please shut the hell up! You don't know what you're talking about. She looks at him and says, "You have no idea who Gabrielle is, do you?"
Oh, she's the one that wants to kill you, Me and my sister because she feels like it's needed to be, and I'd like to get the fuck out of here. Because last time she looked that way, she was sent home by Simon. I remember.
Simon?
The person who wants to be our leader.
Oh,
Claims to be our leader.
she nods.
You know, they're the best of buddies. And Kurul actually gets in the car. He's like, I'm not
The
standing
door,
here listening to
as
this
you attempt to
bullshit.
get in, the door is locked.
You, like, unnaturally locked?
You try to use the. Do you attempt to use a key to open it?
Well, we never
No.
closed it, so
Oh,
I guess.
well, it is locked as you attempt to open it. It is locked. So if you attempt to open it, let me know.
Well, then we're going for a walk. Fuck this car.
Hey, I put a lot of time and effort in this car.
We can get a new car. I can't get a new fucking face. Let's go.
I mean,
It's a nice car. She says with a smile.
Gabrielle, she lifts herself up off the car, so she's now actually standing rather than leaning, and she says, "I don't know exactly what it is, or rather, I don't know why it is. What has happened, and why it is there is now a crack in your prison through which you slip. However, the fact of the matter still remains that you are here, and this is clearly, in some manner, his will. So, I'm merely here to give you a warning.
Again.
No, as in a warning that, or rather, something for your betterment, child." And yes, you don't just call him child, like child. "I've got a question," she says as she looks around. "What do you know, or what can you still recall about a being named Ansariel?"
And here is Mark rolling Intelligence Legacy again.
You, Kirill, can also roll Intelligence House Lore.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I made him stupid.
Oh, I know all the things. I get 6 successes.
did I take any dots in
Ah.
legacy? I did not take any dots in legacy. Okay, I know nothing. I am
Behold.
Jon Snow.
So you are, I was about to say, you're basically Jon Snow.
I was going to say, don't deal as she fumble fucks her way through eternity. It's fine.
Oh yes.
I know 2 things actually. I don't know why, but I do.
Did you get 2 successes?
Yeah.
Lil just knows one thing. She
Yeah.
knows the gun won't hurt.
If
Gabrielle.
it's difficulty above 6, then I know one thing because I have a 10. So I know at least a little bit.
Okay, and Sarael has gone by many, many names, including but not limited to Mephistopheles.
Oh, right. That doesn't say tell me anything.
He was the entity who was called Faust. As in the
Yeah,
German play.
the Faustian guy.
Wasn't Faust the doctor though? But
Yeah,
sorry.
Mephistopheles was the demon who tormented Faust.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So he gave his name to the Faustians.
Oh,
And thereby, because the actual name that they went by, the Faustians, is actually a pretty new revelation. They only started to use it in the last, in the last decade or so, because most of you have been in prison for quite a while and have only gotten out in the last year or two. And Sarael was a very, very senior commander during for Mark, was a very, very senior commander during the fall. He was a member of the Alabaster Legion, I think. I haven't written out. I think he was the Alabaster Legion. He was either Alabaster or Iron. It's in my notes. Needless to say, he was also a devil and is ever so slightly cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
he is.
So
he has lost some of his marbles, is what you're saying.
he disappeared from the pit a very long time ago, but then again, time in the pit is very weird.
Yeah.
He's been gone for quite a while.
People know that he was there, but not sure where he's now.
Correct. So that is what you know about Ansarael. There you go. As she asked, "What do you know about this entity?"
She looked at Gabriel and says, "I remember Ansarael. He was one of the senior commanders during the war, and he has his mental state is. The last time I knew, his mental state was not entirely stable. He and he disappeared some time ago. I'm not sure how long from the prison before we did, before I did at least.
I will.
That's
Sorry,
about
guys.
it.
I'll be back in just 2 seconds. I just need to put fuel on the fire.
Metaphorically or literally?
Literally, the fire is going out.
Oh, okay.
So why he does this? Carol definitely looks like he doesn't know what they're talking about. He's afraid that if they stay here long enough, there's going to be something stupid happening with him getting killed. And
Hey.
he is no, I'm talking about my own actions.
Ah.
And I'm surprised that you're not already doing the same. And when I mean you, I mean Bill.
I mean, yeah, Lil just has the gun out. She is basically ready to defend herself in any way, which includes, gunfire, even though deep down she knows it'll be pointless. But hey, you better be ready with something, and something is better than nothing.
You can throw it. And
Hmm.
yeah, so he's anxious. He's not feeling safe. He's not happy in the presence of what he believes to be some sort of angelic figure. And yeah, anxious is the best word.
Lil will kind of lean closer, as I don't know if Evan is back already, but and she'll just sort of whisper in Carol's ear, um, if we're walking away and she wants to have something to do with us, we won't be able to walk away.
What would we want with us? She's clearly an enemy of Simon. Simon wants us in his little club,
Yeah,
and
but we're
all
not
she wants is
specifically
our head.
friends. I know, and she can get him. So best just to, for
I'm
now.
back. Sorry about that. She will nod, and she will say,
Another thing. Oh, sorry. She, as Ansariel was also of the House of the Dawn.
"Yes." She will hold out her hand, and she will say, "There is something I would show you all."
Why would we trust you?
Because ultimately, all you seek is your own continued survival. And ultimately, whether you like it or not, you are still a piece of his plan.
No.
At those words, Celia, like she definitely does not go like okay, but she is like she's not happy-go-lucky about it, but she does cautiously step forward and gives Gabrielle a kind of a "Are you gonna fuck me over right now?" look before she reaches out.
Did you actually hock a loogie on the ground when he said, when she said you were all part of his plan?
Yes.
Take 1 point of damage.
Oh no.
Just from the aura that radiates off her with that moment of scorn. There's a
God,
moment of scorn.
God is a dick.
Is it visible that he gets like egg? Like, is there like a wound opening
No,
or something?
it's
Or
more so it's more so like he just feels diminished in a
okay,
weird way. It's there's no kind of physical sign, like fire doesn't leap out at him or anything like that. It's
I
more so
mean, it
kind
could
of
have been. Because in that case, Lil would have definitely done something stupid. But
If he
you know,
feels,
doesn't see it.
if she's trying to make a Halaku Slayer, the lowest of the lowest house feel diminished, she might try it with a devil, and a devil would care, but a Slayer does not.
I will have you know, I deal with the shit day to day. You think your shit is shit? I'll show you real shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
But no, she will hold out her other hand and she will say, "You do not need to trust me. As a matter of fact, I suspect that you shouldn't. However, this affects you. So, if you wish to be warned and if you wish to arm yourself before the possibilities of the dawn, then you can do so. If not, then you can languish in your own ignorance. It means not to me." Roll me perception empathy on that statement if you guys want.
Right, I'm going
Sure.
to answer
Yeah.
then why extend the hand? If we are so shit to you and you don't care so little about us, then why offer the hand in the first place? Why not joy like he does in seeing us squirm from the scraps falling from the table of the heavens?
Perception, empathy. Oh, actually.
And
And yes,
while we do that, I need to
it is in fact
see if
based
any
on
of
height. So, sorry, that was going to be the
do
next
Okay.
do any of my merits count towards this. Good listener,
I got
maybe.
a lot of successes.
I've got like 3 successes. If I,
When she says it matters not to me, she is clearly lying.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's why Kirill clearly points out that it matters, and he notices it matters because otherwise she wouldn't be here.
You will also notice
Um,
that behind the very stony face, she is in an awful lot of pain. Very, very deep emotional pain. She doesn't want to be here. Not that she doesn't want to be interacting with you. She doesn't want this. She doesn't want this entire situation.
Hmm.
would good listener impact this perception empathy roll?
I'm going to say no because she's not talking.
Okay.
So
In
from
that
the
case, I have 2 successes.
Okay.
from the look on her face, is it fair with 3 successes? Um, is it fair to assume that it's she doesn't want to be there and that she's feeling pity for them, other than the fact that she doesn't want to be there because she thinks they're not worth her time?
Okay. I'm going to use a really common analogy to describe this.
Sure,
You
sure.
know, sometimes you might see a homeless person on the street who looks genuinely like they're just terribly down on their luck, and you feel a genuine pang of sympathy.
No.
Okay, okay, well, Jess, I'm a human being. I'm a monster.
Okay, Jesse, try to be me and then try it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
I don't get it. I don't
Fair
get it,
enough.
but I'll roll with it. Sure, fine.
Okay, well, okay. That's the near. Okay, you see a homeless person on the street, and you might feel a genuine pang of sympathy. That's or not what you're getting. That is just a casual kind of, oh, you're down on your luck sympathy. Imagine now if you're walking down the street and you see a homeless person, but it's your sister, and you didn't know. Like she has that kind of level of I am sad, in the sense that she is personally sad for you, not
Mhm.
looking down at you.
I understand what you're saying right now because it makes sense from an empathic point of view. Understanding it doesn't mean feeling or ever
Yeah,
doing it,
yeah.
but I get what you're saying.
Cool.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Lil will still have the gun in her hands, but she will walk up. She does look at Carol to see what he's doing because she's like, I'm not going to do this on my own.
I am going to think about this. I have to look. Let me give me 20 seconds, please. I need to think about my
Makes sense.
character
One,
to do.
2, 3.
Saskia, don't
Uh,
do that. Saskia, do that.
I'm thinking about it, and Carol actually stays. He doesn't trust her one bit. Not enough to like connect with her on a physical level or even a mental level, and give her getting her closer to his more inner self as he connects it. He doesn't trust her at all. He's thinking all kinds of bad things that she wants to do with him, So no, he doesn't step forward. He says too conniving for it, so to speak.
All right. Those of you who do touch her hand, for a moment you feel as though you're falling. You feel as though the world itself has shifted away from you, and you are no longer stood where you were standing. It's rather in this case you are floating in midair above a scene. You see a great battle taking place below you. You see men screaming and crying out calls to God as it is that they fight in what appears to be a ruined monastery, though above you the sky is not normal. It swirls in weird manners. The clouds seem to be their own form of wisp-like nightmares. There is no sun, there is no moon. There is an opaque green mist that flies all around you. They seem to be battling against individuals who come from many walks of life. They are dressed oddly in a motley collection of robes, business suits, martial arts attire. They are very different people, and yet they are all united by a single purpose. Both sides clash in the crumbling remnants of a forgotten monastery. A great abbey looms over all of you, in front of you. You see an impossible amount of faith energy growing inside the abbey proper. You see it come to an explosion, a convergence in an instant, every pane of glass illuminated as if by the radiance of a newborn god. You feel a sense wash over you that you have not felt since the dawn of all things and since the beginning of all time. You see below the battle goes ill for those of the faithful as they are beaten back by those who are quite clearly invading until a small group of about 7 or 8 individuals manages to break into the abbey proper, in which case you are falling briefly, falling for but a handful of moments until you transcend through the roof of the abbey and you see it from the inside, though seated among the rafters. You see a being composed entirely of black Icarus filth that now inhabits a human body so dark. From your perspective, this being is nothing but torment made physically manifest. And yet, seated on the altar itself, you see a vessel, a body that is not dissimilar to your own during the first age, however, lacking the divine spark of a soul. It is clearly obvious. The body itself, though, is an angelic replica. You see a number of entities fighting on the floor surrounding this edifice. As it is, you see the entity dripping with the black filth of its own corruption, incant ancient words of power, as it has a blasphemous soul, one of the fallen souls, or a bastardized new soul with the true name stitched upon it by arcane fulacrum. It walks forwards towards the altar with this soul in a black chalice that it keeps close to its chest as it incants more words of dark power. Everything starts to swirl, congeal, and contort before eventually the heroes of the day, as it were, these individuals who cast fire from their fingertips and who themselves reweave creation, start to smite the dark force of the entity. You see light pierce its body in several places as it shrieks and howls in agony. It responds with its own terrible powers, and the beg your pardon, it responds with its own terrible powers as these entities are driven back until eventually, in one great surge of faith, you see this entity, Azurael, banished. The chalice clatters to the ground, shattering. The soul, the blasphemous thing within it, shattered in that moment also. However, From within, you see the souls in question, the true name of one soul that it was attempting to imprint over another had not fully taken. The soul that remains in the vestige image or the vestige shards, yes, of the chalice is still human. It was not fully changed in the moment. And the angelic body, this being made entirely of the faith of man, sits there until such point as these entities pick up the human soul and place it into the body as similar to yours as any could have been, reminiscent of you in an age long forgotten and in an age long since past. And then, in a whooshing and a whirring, you feel as if your bodies are yanked backwards by some unseen force, as if you were puppets on strings. And for Kirill's perspective, this will take less than a second. It's literally a pop. They are standing right back where they were.
And when she returns to her own senses, Celia like takes a moment to reel from this, and then looks at Gabrielle. What does all this mean, sister?
Sister. Lil will actually like stumble back.
Humankind used their abilities to reweave the world in the same way as we weaved it to be. They used the faithful, harvesting their faith, not dissimilar in the way to how you do, but rather than use it to fuel their existence, they emulated God, and they created and birthed something that was akin to his greatest work in their own image. And Zuriel wished to bring back one of the fallen, his lover in fact, and place her soul in this new body, her angelic being, the true name rewritten upon this imperfect human soul. But he was not able to do so. And these enlightened beings, she contemplates for a few moments before she will say the Enochian word, the high Enochian word for what became to be known as Magi, implanted a human soul into a body similar to mine own, yet made by their own hands.
And you can't deal with that. You're not allowed to interfere.
She turns and she turns and she looks and she says, "Why would I wish to deal with that? This is not my business."
Sorry, what did you say, Evan?
She says, "This is not for me to deal with, correct? It is not my business." However, Anzurael craved this form for his lover more so than words can say. He did everything within his power to reshape the world so that this could come to pass, the impossible made possible. And when he was banished back to the pit, it was in desperation and in more pain than I can possibly comprehend. And I am not sure if he can be kept in the abyss for long. She will shrug. The being in question, the one you saw upon the altar, they named her Hope, and she still lives, unbound by the laws of heaven and not enslaved in service to the abyss. On a side note, this was genuinely my mage plot. My fucking players.
I mean, yeah.
She shrugs and she says, "I'm merely warning you to be careful, and Zuriel will no doubt return. It is his way."
Celia nods, and it's obvious that she takes the warning seriously. So what do we do? She looks at the two others.
Why would he be of danger to us?
She looks and she says, because ultimately, she contemplates, I assume at the best of times you do not want this world to end, to unravel, to cease to be.
Celia nods at this statement.
All I want is to find our true leader. Other than that, I will see.
By the way, are all three of them facing Gabriel at the moment?
And he's kind of off to the side a little bit because he didn't go on the fun time epic adventure.
Okay. At the words at Little's words, Celia will she will not say anything because she's not stupid, but she will wince a little bit, but keep quiet.
Lil already knows the position of her brother on their great leader, so he doesn't say anything. He at all at this point, although they're talking about stuff that he obviously hasn't witnessed or seen, he's like, "So yeah, thank you for your message. Gotta go." He is still very untrusting of anything that comes out of her mouth.
She will shrug. She will turn on her heel and she will say, you will come to see when it is, the time is right. And with that, she will simply vanish.
Bitch.
This does present a problem though, because if what we just saw is true, then this whole world is in trouble.
This whole world has always been in trouble.
There's a point she says with a bit of a chuckle, but not like this. You saw. She looks at Lil.
I saw, but that doesn't mean that that was truth.
There is that. She
I
admits
don't
there is.
trust this person at all.
Nope, she got an agenda of her own, and she has no sympathy for anything that we are, or the fact that we are trying to escape. For all she cares, as long as I know that what she wants is to everything to be restored back to the great plan of the all-knowing and all-wondering God, and she doesn't give a shit about what our place is in that shit. For all she cares, we're all back locked up, and so she can be happy and merry again. That nothing that she has in mind changes.
I agree.
It is. It would be foolish to not acknowledge that she has an agenda of her own. Celia says.
Yeah,
However,
you
if
should have. Sorry.
I was about to say that if, of course, she has things and agendas that she did not mention to us. I am not naive enough to think that, but if there is an ounce of truth to this,
I have no doubt that there is. However, it is her version of the truth.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, so to get back on the thing, because so the tyrant, as I talked about it, he's not big friends of her and her plots either. That's why I didn't go. I don't trust her. I mean, I'm not saying that I trust our new tyranty boss type, who isn't really our boss anyway. But at least he's one of us. You know what I mean? He's fallen. He knows the pains of all that shit.
she nods. That's
This
something
one,
she could never know.
exactly. This one, all she wants is to continue the great plan while at the same time banish as much as possible. For she believes we are not part or shouldn't be part. And at that, those words, she's like, "So, if you, I'm trying to get in connection with, in connection with Simon. If you want, um, I will inform him that you, as soon as you give me your name, again, is also looking to get in contact with him. So you get the fair chance that we've gotten in maybe joining or not joining his merry band of, you know."
Mm. She smiles, nods, and then she, for the first time, she removes her she removes her hood so that so that the two of you can see who she is.
I'm going to roll something because this character is not at all into popular music. So the fact that I might know you is so slim. I mean, my fame is based on the Irish underworld. You don't know
Yeah,
me, which
no,
is
I don't
fine
know
by
you at
me.
all. Yeah,
Which is fine by me.
yeah.
Let me see. Let's do
Would Lil know who Celia is?
You know what? I'll just make like a wits roll or something
I'll
because
make
I'm
it. I'll
sure
make it.
Lil
a
might have seen like a newspaper or
Yeah.
something.
I'll make a straight up in a intelligence roll. I mean,
Would it be intelligence or wits? I thought it would be wits.
no, which is how you respond to things that
Okay.
happen suddenly.
Yeah, fair enough. Then I'll make an intelligence roll as well. Like, you know.
Oh, yep. I have no idea. Awesome.
Neither do I. Sorry.
Okay. No words.
So
She
your
smiles.
great reveal is like, okay, hi.
Oh, she smiles, and for it's actually a genuine smile. She's delighted that for once she isn't greeted, but oh my god, it's you. So she says, my name is okay. Just to be sure, celestial names are the names that demons generally go by and can call each other without any problems, right?
Yes, but since I haven't done it,
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. I'm just trying to categorize the names.
sure.
But, yeah, good. She smiles and says, I'm pleasantly surprised that you do not know who I am. I don't often get that anymore. Um, my name is Celia.
Oh, I'm Kirill. This is Lil.
She's smiles and she doesn't shake. Like she like does a little bit of I wouldn't a handshake would be awkward at this point, but she like this is kind of a like nodding, like friendly greeting kind of thing. It is good to make your acquaintances. I don't often get to meet new people in these kind of settings, at least.
Oh well, we are what we are. So yeah. Um. So yeah. Um. I kind of need your number in order
And she and she
connect
gives. Go on, sorry.
to contact you if I get some.
Mm. She what the what the fuck is that on your?
That is my demon name.
Oh, okay. That's fair. She gives. She has a. I'm going to assume that she can have a burner phone or something. She gives him that number.
Sure. He'll put that number in his own burner phone,
Yeah.
and yeah, he'll just like he's like done. He's like uh, yeah, he needs to like contemplate on this goddamn fucking angel again, Gabriel,
Oh yeah.
and he'll continue to call her a male's name. Piss the bitch off.
just to piss her off, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
that's
didn't do
that's
that.
fine. That is not gonna that's not gonna backfire at all. Okay.
I mean,
Sweet.
I've done worse.
He's gonna so Carol's gonna test like the car doors again, and this time they'll probably open. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, good.
Mhm.
And he's going to sit in the passenger seat because he's not driving. This is not his car.
Do you want us to drop you off somewhere?
She nods. That would be nice. She says, and then puts her hoodie back on, and gets into the back in the back seat, and then she
Totally
gives.
not legal, or the totally not illegal, appropriated car.
Oh fuck!
It's borrowed.
Oh no.
Yeah, right.
Well, in any case, she would want some anonymity, so she just, and some discretion, so she just says, well, as close to insert name of discrete location here as possible. Yeah, that would be nice.
Sure, yeah.
So when you sit down there, the how would you describe the back seat of the car? So is it is it well kept, or is she sitting next
Yeah,
to
of course. It's
empty
looking.
boxes of takeout?
Oh, okay. Well, the car itself does definitely look nice. There's not necessarily empty takeouts, like, but there are definitely a couple of wrappers. There are a few empty cans of beer, and mostly there are cans of energy drink, both empty and full in the back.
Oh, well, she doesn't say anything because she's not. She comes from a. She doesn't come from money, so she's not snobbish. But she leans back in the seat, contemplating
As she
what
sits
she just saw.
as she sits back, and the car starts to slowly move, which I assume at this point.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's reaching out to her, and it's like, you want a beer?
No, I'm good, thank you. She smiles.
He opens his own beer in the car, sitting next to her, and he drives. And they're continuing driving.
I was gonna say Lil drives, and she'll drive like nicely. She won't like go like insane speeds or anything. She's just
She
normally
doesn't go
driving.
GTA on them.
No, 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 no. Yeah, until they basically reach the
Yeah.
corner that Celia mentions.
And she gets out, and then she says, "Thank you, thank you, the two of you." She says, "I'm certain we shall meet again soon."
All right.
And then she heads off into the night.
Lil will just glare at her brother.
What?
You liked her.
Yeah, she's hot. Look at those legs, dude.
I don't see it.
Of course you don't see it. You're a woman.
Does that have to do with it? As she, pulls up and drives off. And I think with this, semi-friendly brother-sister banter, we can end the scene.
Yes.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, SD, for interrupting our nice gameplay with angels.
Yay.
And we'll see you all again in Dublin. Bye.